but you know that, so you know where to sync that up. Just trying to help you sync up the audio.
Yeah, I haven't started recording this yet.
Oh, well then. You said that to me like I should have known. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Great. I'm going to hold it up here, and if I hand it to you, don't touch this stuff, because it picks up pretty remarkably.
Sounds good. What is this podcast? You give me little to no information.
I thought about calling it A Beautiful Backyard, because we're in a beautiful backyard.
Yeah, for LA standards.
Thank you. But I decided that it's actually going to be called A Violent Act of Desperation, because... Go ahead. I don't think that podcasts should exist. I really got to get better at this mic thing. This is the second best mic that I have, and I couldn't find the best one. I think everything's branding these days. I just felt like everyone was doing it, and so I had to do it.
You sent me a voice memo at around 7:03. 7:03 is when I responded.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I know you're going to be in Hollywood at some point tonight. Want to just come over and record a podcast?
You are a comedian. You're a teacher. You are, at this point, most notable for having lots of followers and likes. So how many followers do you have on TikTok?
280-ish thousand.
If 280,000 people knew about somebody 20 years ago, we would say they were famous, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, in my podcast history, 6 minutes in, trying to actually get to a point is pretty damn good. It used to take me 25 to 40 minutes. 280,000 people know about you, but if you add up the time that they spent thinking about you, end to end, that would probably be the time that maybe like 5 normal people would have spent thinking about a loved one. Like people think about Harry Styles
a lot.
Quite a lot.
Taylor
people
Swift.
Who are fans of you, maybe there's like 1,000 who think about you a lot, who are just random TikTok followers, but there are probably 279,000 of those people think about you maybe 5 seconds a week.
If that.
I want you to bring to mind someone who you haven't thought of in a while but was important to you, perhaps a teacher, maybe a coach.
My buddy Jahan in high school, we used to hang out a lot, and then we just randomly went to college, drifted off, and it was like one day, I haven't talked to that guy in forever.
If you could pick for Jahan to see your favorite TikTok that you've created, but not know how many followers you had or how many likes it had, or to never see any of the TikToks that you've created or anything that you've done creatively, but know how many followers and likes you got, which would you pick?
Those are both terrible options. Wait,
I think I need to just confirm before I go further in this line of questioning. He's still with us, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would it matter if he knew how many TikTok followers I had?
You don't think that matters to you? Do you see yourself ever being able to stop doing TikTok?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's more likely it's not a moment. It's just like, it's same thing as my friend Jahan. We're tight, hang out all the time. Go over to his place. His mom makes fresh homemade bread. It's like, this is my best buddy. And then all of a sudden you see each other less and less, and it's like, dang, I haven't talked to that person in forever. That's probably how that works on TikTok. It's just you stop posting at some point.
Yeah, but Jahan wasn't a marketing tool. I feel like, well, I don't know. Okay.
Or was he?
Follow up. Or you've made up, Jahan is a totally made up person.
He's not.
I obviously like getting the dopamine when I, everything is relative, when I do have something that takes off.
Yeah.
But it also makes me feel so much worse, and I only do that, and I go through all like the hunching over a phone and like making little captions and trying to time the captions perfectly and working in the Splice app, because I feel like I have to in order to push through.
Yeah.
So do you not do it because you feel like you have to?
I mean, there's some fun involved. It's not like it's just like, oh, this is all terrible. Like when I do think, I'm like, oh yeah, that story did happen. This would be funny to tell. Like I totally forgot that happened. Like, but yeah, I mean, sure, I also feel like I have to.
this is a real big mistake. I started the year saying that my New Year's resolution was to, over the course of 2022, phase out and divest myself from social media. So take a year to wean myself off and then delete all my accounts. And now that I've had even the tiniest drop of heat, I feel like I can't do that anymore. But I would still like to do that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, if it's overall like you're gonna live a healthier life that way, then great. But like, I just see it's unfortunate, and I mean, I've not been doing comedy much more than a year and a half. Like, so it's not like I know anything.
He's a real wonderkind, folks.
Okay, that was obnoxious.
You are. No, you know this. I think you are above average for someone who's been doing it a year and a half. I don't mean just above. You are, to some degree, a social media persona, which a lot of comedians are now, but they don't have to be. And so is it harder for the social media persona, also comedians, to eventually quit it for mental health than the ones who don't use that?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard for me because that's my main source of income. So, I mean, that's why I'm not going to stop now. Like, let's say I become mainstream successful to the point where I'm not only known by people because of social media, where I'm just like, oh, that's a comedian that is known. Then I would stop myself being like, I got to sit in my car and tell stories. Then I'd be like, great. I'll just pay someone to take my clips from, sure, I would keep it like going in that part, like take my clips from shows of crowd work like you see every other comedian do, or like Post Malone, I mean, is a very, very famous person, but his level
he
is
has
like,
a store actually right over, there's the Post Malone Murakami store, just 100 feet from here.
Okay, no free publicity. You wait for people to sponsor you first, okay? Unbelievable. No, but if you look at his like TikTok or whatever, it's just like literally professionally shot videos of him like backstage or whatever. So sure, I mean, I guess I would, maybe my social media would never stop if I became like very, very successful, but I would then at least get to be the one to stop running it and posting it and thinking about it and making videos. That's how I think about it, I guess.
That sounds nice. I don't know. I just feel like we're all poisoning each other with it. I don't know. This wasn't intended to be an anti-social media.
I mean, no one would disagree that it sucks.
That's why I think by making a pretty, at least, I don't know, we'll see how it turns out, but I think a pretty unwatchable podcast, and this absolutely is what the beginning of my podcast used to be. It's just, let's just shoot the shit and not really say anything for 20 to 30 minutes. I don't want to waste people's time. And
oh, well, yeah, that's good. We definitely haven't been doing that.
I liked your TikTok from today. It felt like a very Run the Jewels kind of cipher situation between you and
Joe Dombrowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like the GOAT of teacher online personas.
Yeah, he's the Killer Mike of teacher online personas, and you're the LP of teacher online personas. Is that what you'd say? Can you say that all in a sentence?
I'm not gonna agree to that. But yeah, we went back and forth saying quotes that we've overheard at me in high school, him in elementary school, which some people are always like, that's made up. Honestly,
I'm the people who say that's made up.
Okay, but sometimes you heighten some things, but like the ones that are 100% true are always someone like, that's fake. Like one time I had a kid in class be like, they were talking about Phineas and Ferb, and the kid was like, Phineas definitely bottoms for Ferb.
God, I gotta get a better mic. This doesn't sound too great, but I'm having fun. And
I also have major vocal fry, and some of the earliest TikToks I ever posted, people made fun of me for it, and like, his voice makes me want to self-harm.
That is that's unkind, and I'm sorry that they said that to you. If you saw Jahan and you had your nice chat, you were chatting for a while, and he said, "Oh, you're on TikTok? That's so cool. I would love to see your TikTok." And yeah, of course he could look it up, but if he was like, "Yeah, send me one of your TikToks," which is a weird thing to say, but maybe somebody would say that. Which TikTok would you share with an old friend?
Probably one of me doing stand-up.
Which one?
I don't have that many on there. There's one of me doing crowd work, I guess. Where what? I'm surprised that you think I am that shallow that I would want an old friend to know that I have TikTok followers.
I was just doing it as a curse situation, you know?
I mean, saying I want them to know how many followers I have is way douchier. But, like, also saying I want them to see my content as if it's some life-changing content is also just pretentious as hell. You ask me, do you think you're famous? You don't think I'm famous, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I do.
Well, then you have a bad definition of what famous
It's
is.
just that famous used to be one thing, and now famous is a lot of... Because, yeah, I've been walking with you, and somebody said, oh my gosh, I've seen you before on my phone. And I have been
Actually,
recognized...
she said, oh my gosh, you're a comedian, which is way cooler.
And I think getting recognized for creative work that you put into the world is a definition of fame. Yeah, and but it also, it's like fame, you should be rich.
Well, I'm rich in love.
And that's what matters. You can find him at Samuel Sleeves. Is that your thing?
That's the handle, Samuel Sleeves.
Samuel Sleeves on Instagram and TikTok. Anyway, this has been a violent act of desperation. I'm Julian Stern. Have a wonderful day. Perfect.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.